China is building warship base in Atlantic, targeting the West. China is seeking to build a military navy base off the coast of tiny West African country, Equatorial Guinea, sending a terrifying message to the West that Beijing seeks a foothold in the Atlantic Ocean. U.S. intelligence believed China was intending to build a permanent military presence in the nation sandwiched between Cameroon and Gabon. Such a facility would be significant as it would give China its first base on the Atlantic Ocean. This would mean Chinese warships would be able to rearm and refit opposite the east coast of the U.S., a threat that is setting off alarm bells at the White House and Pentagon. U.S. National Security Advisor John Feiner visited Equatorial Guinea in October on a mission to persuade President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo to reject China's overtures for such a project. President Joe Biden's administration had conveyed to the Mbasogo government any Chinese activity would raise national security concerns. The report speculated China would consider building a military facility in the port city of Bata. Beijing had built a deep-water commercial port in Bata. General Stephen Townsend, commander of the U.S. Africa Command, had warned the Senate in April about the risk of China having a naval facility on the Atlantic coast. He said, "This is something more than a place that they can make port calls and get gas and groceries. I'm talking about a port where they can rearm with munitions and repair naval vessels." The latest Pentagon report on China's military modernization had warned China was considering military facilities in Kenya, Tanzania, and Angola. In 2017, China formally opened its first overseas military base in Djibouti, on the Indian Ocean. The facility has since seen the expansion of infrastructure to accommodate ships such as submarines and aircraft carriers. China's plans for a new facility on the Atlantic Ocean also shed light on the rapid expansion of its navy. The Pentagon report had noted the People's Liberation Army Navy plan was now the world's largest navy, with an overall battle force of approximately 355 ships and submarines, including approximately more than 145 major surface combatants. Unlike nations such as Kenya, Tanzania, and Angola, a facility on the Atlantic Ocean would have considerable practical and symbolic implications as it directly challenges U.S. hegemony over the region. China conducts live-fire bombing drills in South China Sea. The Chinese military has deployed some of its most advanced strategic bombers in a live-fire exercise in the South China Sea as an apparent message of deterrence to Taiwan and its allies. Several H-6J bombers, the latest type of bomber to enter service with the Chinese People's Liberation Army (PLA) Navy, recently practiced bomb dropping and sea mine-laying on islands in the South China Sea, according to the Global Times, sister publication of China's Communist Party mouthpiece People's Daily. It did not disclose the exact location of the exercise. The drills, conducted on an unspecified date, displayed the aircraft's traditional bombing capability in addition to its standoff strike competence, reported the Global Times, adding that it involved the actual use of high-explosive aerial bombs and sea-bottom mines. China conducts frequent military drills in the South China Sea, where its sweeping territorial and maritime claims overlap with those with several of its neighbors. But it's unusual for China to deploy warplanes to drop bombs and lay mines in a live-fire exercise. A video clip by China's Central Television, CCTV, posted on YouTube on December 2 shows bombers taking off at night and flying through heavy clouds to a designated area of the South China Sea to conduct 2 air raids. The planes are seen dropping sea mines and bombs to the sea, causing large columns of explosion. The bombs hit targets on islands and reefs, CCTV reported. The exercise, performed by a regiment affiliated with the PLA Southern Theater Command's Navy Aviation Force, could serve as a deterrent at a time when foreign forces and Taiwan secessionists are making provocations, the Global Times quoted anonymous analysts as saying. John Blaxland, professor of international security and intelligence studies at the Australian National University, said the action is consistent with the approach the PLA has taken in recent months to ratchet up the intimidation on the Taiwanese people. This is not surprising, but does not mean that an attack is imminent, Blaxland said. While ratcheting up its rhetoric and tactics, according to the Australian analyst, China is expanding its grey zone warfare against Taiwan, which includes cyber attacks, repeated incursions of its airspace and territorial waters, and diplomatic isolation to undermine Taiwan's resolve and ability to resist. China threatens to fire upon American troops that defend Taiwan. The Chinese military has issued a direct threat against any possible American military forces that attempt to defend the country of Taiwan, according to the Washington Free Beacon. The threat was made on Thursday in the Chinese state-controlled newspaper Global Times, in which it was written that it is credible that the People's Liberation Army will heavily attack U.S. troops who come to Taiwan's rescue. Such credibility is increasingly overwhelming the deterrence that U.S. troops may have, the paper continued. If Washington supports the Taiwan Authority's path of seeking secession and encourages the Taiwan Authority to rely on it, then reunification by force will definitely happen. The more the U.S. and the island of Taiwan collude, the sooner reunification by force will come. Tensions have been rising in recent months, as China appears to be building up its material presence along the coastline near the island nation of Taiwan. The Chinese military has also taken to frequently sending warplanes within the island's airspace, in a clear display of military aggression and political intimidation. Although Taiwan has claimed independence from mainland China, the current Chinese Communist Party, CCP, regime has repeatedly claimed authority over the island. When asked about the possible preparations for an invasion of the country by the communist regime, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the United States has made preparations of its own to counter any efforts by China to invade the island nation. Sullivan said that the White House's goal is to ensure that a Chinese takeover of Taiwan never happens. The challenge in China comes as the Biden administration is facing another potential crisis overseas, with Russia building up a military presence along the border with Ukraine in what appears to be preparations for a similar invasion. Joe Biden recently held a 2-hour video conference call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, with the White House and the Kremlin giving differing accounts as to the tone of the conversation.